Incoming mic touching. All right.
When you went through Irithyll, I'm sure you noticed those ghosts that seem to be walking the streets.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
they likely
What was the
represent
deal
the
with that?
Outrider Knights before their departure and descent into madness, because two in particular are very interesting. They walk together, one man, one female, and
Yeah.
the woman wears the mask of the dancer.
Shit!
Vort was
Oh
never
my
far
God!
from the fleeting dancer who watches over Emma in Lothric's Grand Cathedral.
Wow!
The dancer is far more intriguing than Vort is. The dancer's soul can also be transposed to give you the spell Soothing Sunlight, miracle of Guinevere of the old royalty. Guinevere
Damn!
used to reside in Anor Londo, home of the gods, and her line continues in Lothric. This dear friend was Sigurd, who journeys to the profaned capital in order to uphold his promise and slay his old friend. Presumably, Yorm asked Sigurd to kill him if he ever betrayed his duty, and Sigurd does so, seeing that Yorm has not returned to link the fire once again. The profaned capital also had its sorcerers. You knew you were in trouble, because these guys are dedicated to taking out the abyss, and indeed their home in Farron might just be set above such a kingdom, for below are the catacombs of Karthus, and sealed within a goblet, deep below in the catacombs, is the encounter with High Lord Wolnir, a ruler who succumbed to the abyss. Before succumbing to the abyss, Wolnir was a conqueror. Next is the archives, and beyond the archives is Prince Lothric and his brother, Lorien. Curiously, these are the only Lords of Cinder who were not featured in the opening cutscene of Lords being resurrected, and I believe that's because they never linked the fire. And I think their rejection of linking the fire might have been what set. For here, at World's End, even he loses himself, which gives us a glimpse of the good heart that he used to have before the world made him what he was.
I'm hollow. Yes.
Wait.
I try to play it off, but I haven't a clue about my past, who I was.
No way!
What I lived for.
No
My
way!
own blessed name. You remember that treasure?
That's Patches?
Well, I fetched it for you. Here, go ahead. It's yours. Maybe it'll help you with that solemn duty of yours. I'm off in search of the Purging Monument. Once I find it,
fuck me!
Will come back to me. Who I was. What I lived for, what my name was, and what terrible grudges I held. I don't know. I just have this feeling.
Yeah, I loved him!
That's the kind of man I was.
Shit!
The has the power to purge the undead curse and restore one's humanity.
Oh my God!
Ironically, only by displaying humanity. With your help, Lap can find the Purging Monument, and surely Lap is to be trusted.
Are you certain of that? No.
Wow.
Sorry.
He sets you on the path to the Church of Filianor, where he assists you one last time in your quest to weaken the Lord's grip on the Ringed City.
Wait, really?
He did always despise clerics, charlatans he calls them, and it's fitting beyond words that Patches would play a part in undoing the greatest lie of all.
No way!
The greed of the gods that's rooted in faith, in Filianor, and in fire. Here you both stand, at the end of the world, undead, unbroken, yet we two could not be more different. Patches fought for no one but himself, for no cause other than to scoff at the greed of men. But you, he's seen your kind time and time and time again.
Oh yes, Horace. He's not very talkative. But don't think ill of him.
Oh no, this is gonna break my heart, isn't it?
He's an upstanding, kind-hearted knight. A fine partner for this grueling journey. Please stop!
Wait, what?
You've gone hollow, have you? Then I shall put you to rest. Horace, join me, and may the flames watch over us.
So you unlock all the dialogue.
Oh, Horace, why? Don't leave me. Not you. Not like the others. Oh, Horace. Everyone, forgive me. I was weak on my own.
From this, we learn of Anri's fear. Fear that those by her side will die. You can imagine this fear would have been born from her childhood in the cathedral, as the children alongside her were sacrificed.
Yeah.
Have you seen my companion, Horace? To my shame, I was snared by a trap and we've become separated. I've not been able to find him since.
If you tell Anri where he is, then Anri will go to find him, full of fear that she might have to confront Aldrich, this childhood horror, alone. But a hollow remembers no one, so it is better that she go on alone.
Oh, Horace, where have you run off to?
Gotcha.
Have you abandoned me? I never managed to find Horace. But my duty must be done, even alone, as an unkindled Lord Seeker. For the children I knew, bless their souls.
Together you kill the Pontiff, and together you face Aldrich.
Ah, I thought it might be you. Then I'm afraid, Horace... No. This only bolsters my resolve. Please, lend me your strength. Help me vanquish Aldrich, the man-eating fiend. Yes. We did it. I owe this to you. Thank you, truly. Horace, we've done it. We really have.
Seek not the girl. She knoweth her fate, what will become of her upon her duty's end. She would not wish thee follow her.
Her duty fulfilled,
Wow.
Anri will hollow in one of two places. If you told her where Horace hollowed, but killed him to protect her, then Anri places one last prism stone and hollows alongside her companion, her duty fulfilled. If Anri never found Horace, then she hollows in front of these tiny graves, maybe built for Horace, or for the children they once knew.
Wow.
So, how will your
Damn.
story end?
Shit, man. That was, Yeah, that's all kinds of depressing. Wow.
But one man whose exile he did not spin for once was the banishment of his firstborn son,
Yes, Nameless
the
King.
nameless king, god of war and leader of the Sunlight Covenant, had his godhood rescinded after it was discovered that he was fraternizing with dragons. This was something he covered up. In addition, it seems like Gwyn's captain of the guard, Ornstein, went on to leave his post in favor of the Nameless King.
Oh.
And so too, it appears, did Havel, whose knights arise in the Nameless King's defense at Archdragon Peak. A war had been
Okay.
fought in the name of disparity, yet how righteous, truly, was their war against the ancient, unchanging, everlasting dragons? Gwyn was consumed, and with his dying breath, utterly defied disparity. The world became cursed, and from this point on, every time an age of fire dwindled, the souls of lords would flourish anew, so that it could all play out again. The timeline of fire had warped. It had turned from a straight line, linked into a circle, becoming this wall
Nice.
containing the rightful age of dark until the end of time. Eventually,
Cool.
as the world burned out over and over again, ash itself would arise, a new being created from 1,000 failures who had tried to link the fire over the years. But ash did not belong in this world, and honestly, they had more in common with the beings of the painted world, where all of fire's discarded things reside. So, they fought for a new purpose, to reunite the dark soul, and to paint a new world with it so that they could escape the ashen wasteland that Gwyn had created.
Cool.
And so, far away, at the very end of the world, one of the first victims of the curse, Slave Knight Gale, hollowed beyond belief, also sacrificed himself for a new world, and he did not go gentle into that good night.
grave men near death who see with blinding sight. Blind eyes could blaze like meteors and be gay. Rage.
What is this audio
rage
from?
against
It's
the
so
dying
good.
of the light. And you, my father, there on the sad height, curse, bless me now with your fierce tears, I pray. Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light.
Like, okay. I mean, the lore for these games, I've always known it's good, right? But like, I feel like there's this whole other story to it that, you know, I wouldn't have even known, right? If Vati hadn't put it together, if I hadn't watched the videos, right? Like, cause there's something that happens sometimes in stories that is very near and dear to my heart. And that's when the stories leave a breadcrumb trail, when the stories conceal. Because telling a story, that's one thing, and it's wonderful. But leaving a breadcrumb trail can be like convincing the audience to tell a story and to tell themselves the story that you wanted them to tell. That's a whole other thing. Like, the idea that, because then it takes hold of their minds, it gets in their heads, right? And then they wonder, is there more of it out there, right? It makes it so that this story doesn't just exist within the video game, the book, the show, the whatever, right? It takes on this other life that is sustaining. And it just keeps on going. And then it gets to that point where you can't help but think about it all the time, right? So this is a bit of an out there take, but stories are how we defy our own mortality. Because the reason that we love stories, why humanity loves stories, there's the, you know, distraction elements and things like that, but it really, when it comes down to it, is that it's a representation of our own stories that we go on across our life, right? But unlike our stories, fictional stories can live on indefinitely, right? Because even the person who has the most outlandish story during their life will become a name in a history book at best. Maybe they get a sentence, right? You know, if they're really like big deal, then maybe there will be some people who write papers or books on them, and then for a couple hundred years, some people will know about those, right? But when you're talking about making a story that's unique all unto itself, that can become something else entirely. And it, in its misdirection from our own lives, it can take on mythic qualities that a single human life never could, right? To have a story that understands not just, hey, we're going to have some great stories in here, but I'm going to keep you guessing. I'm going to keep you searching, right? Words can't do it justice. They can't, right? Because in a lot of ways, over the course of our lives, we're looking for the meaning in our own story, how we're going to write it, what it's going to be, you know? But to get even a similar level of attention to something fictional is nothing short of incredible. I remember when I started Dark Souls 1, I was aware that, you know, there isn't really much story. It's more of there's lore and there's really good gameplay. And I always thought of that as being something that must be overcome, that the game would be super enjoyable in spite of that, right? Rather than that's one of the biggest strong suits of the games. The very fact that less is more, that it conceals things, that a bunch of people wouldn't necessarily know about all of this stuff in the game, of this story behind the scenes, if it's not all put together. Then, hey, someone does. And there you go. It's like this game series that you loved all this time. It's like there's a whole other, a whole other world behind it that you were just never privy to. Thank you so much for getting me into these games. I I can't remember the last time that I was this obsessed over a game franchise. And certainly not for these kinds of reasons, Well, that's it for today. Until next time, everyone, I have been Jacob of Semblance of Sanity. Love y'all buckets. Good night.